Hey, this is for anyone looking for some basketball content going over the fundamentals of the game. You can check out my Udemy page as I have some online basketball courses going over basketball for beginners, dribbling, shooting, post moves, and triple threat moves. So you can get these courses for an affordable price. The link is in the description below, and if you're interested, look to enroll today. What is up, everyone? Koballa here with another video. And this video I want to do a breakdown of what's to come in the NBA playoffs, and that is the matchup between the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. So it's been an interesting first off, it's been an interesting playoffs and very entertaining, very fun to watch, very good competition, a lot of good basketball, and a lot of these games coming down to the wire. And for these two teams to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals isn't too surprising. I mean, throughout the regular season, they've been playing like they have been contenders. A little bit of surprise for Miami Heat, but as you see them play throughout the season, you can see how good and underrated they really are. And for them to beat the Bucks been has been pretty impressive. So, and Boston's run in the playoffs has been impressive as well. Had a tough battle in their last series with the Raptors going to 7 games. So these two teams are collided in the Eastern Conference Finals, and we'll do a little breakdown here and also break down their recent game that they had in the bubble. So let's get started. Um, so first off, I mean, even for the Bucks to not be in the Eastern Conference Finals has been quite surprising. Obviously, Giannis had the injury, which took him out of pretty much 2 games. One that he did re-injure in Game 3. I believe it was Game 3 or Game 4. Um, but yeah, he got out with the injury and couldn't play the rest of the game. Bucks did come through and win that game. Uh, but you got to give Bucks credit. They competed even though Giannis was down. But the Heat were just too good of a team for the Bucks, especially without Giannis. So let's look at both these teams overall. Let's look at their stats. Both teams, in terms of scoring points, I mean, they put up a good amount of points. Out of all the teams, they offensively they are pretty good. They are pretty solid. Let's look at the 3-point percentage. Miami Heat top 3. Celtics not that great of a shooting team compared to the Heat. Let's look at turnovers. Right in the middle, blocks. Celtics are 4th. Heat are 9. But one thing to point out that is really interesting with their stats is that Celtics and Heat give up the least points throughout these playoffs. So both of them are tremendous defensive teams, and a lot of their games have been low scoring. In today's game, haven't been too much of a high scoring game, and it's due to obviously the playoffs, a lot of adjustments, a lot of defensive schemes, probably a lot more effort, and just focused, playing harder, playing smarter in these times. But yeah, just very great defensive teams going at it. So you could probably see these games in the Eastern Conference Finals being pretty low scoring. I don't really expect it to be a high scoring affair in these games because I do expect to just be scrappy, very defensive minded, and Just I could see both of them, offensively, just having to work a lot harder for their shots and to get really good offensive possessions. So that is what I see, and just a lot of grit, a lot of grinding out, a lot of physicality. So it'll definitely be a gritty type of series. So let's look at the Heat stats real quick and kind of look over their matchups. If you look at throughout the playoffs for the Miami Heat, you have about 6 players in double figures in points. So what I like about the Heat is when they do play their offense, they share the wealth. They offensively, they collectively can score the ball really well. A lot of guys that can shoot. You obviously got Jimmy Butler, who's kind of the main guy, the guy you could go in crunch time to get a shot off. Along with that, you got veteran Dragic, who's been in the league for a long time, and in the playoffs has been playing phenomenal, man. Really stepping up his game. You have Bam Adebayo, who rebounds the ball, kind of does everything, plays defense, rebounds, can pass the ball as well as a big man. So he's kind of like a hybrid big man that has been huge for the Heat. You have Hero, who's a great shooter, great scorer, brings offense to the Heat. And then Duncan Robinson, another shooter, Crowder and Iguodala, a lot of experience, a lot of wing players, can defend, can also shoot the ball, can score. So a mix of, you also have Kendrick Nunn too, Kenny Olynyk. So they do have a lot of veterans on their team with a couple young stars as well. So it's a good mix of veterans and youth on their team. But also, you have championship experience with Iguodala, playoff experience with a lot of the vets on this team. So it'll be interesting to see how they continue to perform with the Celtics. So let's look at the Celtics and their player stats. If you look at Tatum, he's the leading scorer of their team. He's the main guy. He can rebound, play defense, score the ball, can do it all, man. He's their main guy, and he's their go-to player. You also have Kemba along with that, and Jaylen Brown, who also can score the ball and helps out Tatum. Kind of like their big three right now. You got Brown, Tatum, and Walker. Brown and Tatum, also very good defenders. Brown, and they are also very athletic as well, athletic wings. Marcus Smart, he's also that all-around player on offense, very gritty defensive player, one of the best defensive guards in the game, and he's going to bring a lot of toughness, a lot of energy, a lot of defensive pressure on their guards. So that'll also be very interesting. You have Daniel Dice, who's their big man, who plays his role really well. I mean, he doesn't need to be that scorer, but he just hustles, gets rebounds, plays defense, does the little things, and we'll get those easy points, with alley-oops, with the penetration from Kemba, from the guards, get those putbacks on second chance points. So you also have that, and you have some of their young players. You have Cantor too. You haven't really seen much depth from the Celtics. You do have Robert Williams and Wanamaker, who do give him energy off the bench, and that defensive pressure, and just giving the other main guys a rest. So you do have Gordon Hayward, who was injured from that first game with Philly, and there's a chance from reading the news that he could return within the series. So that will be pretty interesting. So when you look at these two teams, they are very evenly matched. And the Hayward factor would be pretty interesting because he'll definitely add more depth and give him another offensive option with that. But who knows, coming off an injury, how much of a factor he'll be, if he'll be in shape, how much playing time he'll have. My guess is he will be in the rotation, but who knows how much he will contribute, or if he will be a factor at all if he does return to the series. But I think it would be helpful considering the fact that Celtics are not so deep as much as the Heat, because Heat, coming off the bench, you do have Hero, Iguodala, Kendrick Nunn. So that will be pretty interesting to see that. When you do look at the Heat, they are actually all around a pretty big team. Their guards are pretty big, probably 6'3", 6'4", and above. Very athletic and lengthy wing players. Very athletic as well, even though they are a bit older, but very seasoned and experienced. And their young players are also very good. The playoffs have not, stifled their gameplay. They've still been playing excellent. So it almost seems like the young guys on the Heat are also veterans as well. Like, they don't seem like young players who are flustered by the pressure of the playoffs. So very, very good team on the Heat's end. And the Celtics obviously got their, big three, with Brown, Tatum, and Walker. Very talented offensive players, and the offense will definitely go through those three guys. What is a bit concerning, as I mentioned, is probably the depth of the Celtics. They're not as deep as the Heat, but I mean, they are still a really good defensive team, and their role players coming off the bench do help out and do give energy on the defensive end. So if you do have Hayward, you have another option, a very good player to be a part of the rotation. So that'll be pretty interesting to see him come back and to see how well he does. When you do look at Kemba Walker, he is about 5'11", 6 feet tall. So he will be the shortest guy on the court, and it'll be interesting with a Heat guard lineup that is pretty big in terms of height, if they will try to exploit that matchup with Kemba. You did see Kyle Lowry kind of in certain plays where they used him in the post to go one-on-one with Kemba. So I'm wondering if Heat, with their big guards, they'll look to exploit that matchup, because matchups do matter in the playoffs. So as good of a player as Kemba is, you wonder defensively if if the Celtics might be vulnerable in that position. But we'll see. At the end of the day, they'll make the adjustments, and when it comes to the playoffs, it'll be the battle of adjustments between the coaches, and the coaches are top notch too. Eric Spoelstra already won 2 championships with the Heats. Made these playoff runs with the Heat in recent years as well, and this year looks like they have a pretty good chance of making it to the finals and trying to get that title, a third one for Eric. And Stevens is an excellent coach too. Been in the playoffs before, championship runs, runner up with Butler in college, so they both have that winning pedigree. And if you do look at these players, they're both experienced players, a lot of vets that have a lot of experience in the playoffs. So this just creates 2 teams that are just going to battle it out, and you have everything you want in these teams to compete for a championship, and here it is, man. I'm excited to see what's how things are gonna play out, you know. So before we continue on and finalize on that note, let's look at the game between the Celtics and the Heat. Their recent game in the bubble on August 4th. So let's look at this game here and break it down a little bit. So they started with Kelly Olynyk in this game here. Yeah, you got a shooter in Duncan Robinson. Very good shooter, so Celtics have to watch out for the shooters with Robinson and Hero. And there's the Gordon Hayward factor. He did play in this game here. So another offensive option from Hayward will definitely help the Celtics, but who knows how well in shape he'll be, and if he does return to the Heat. Very nice drive by Kendrick Nunn. Going there, taking it to the basket.
He's at 1-3. He hits his second tonight. What a start for Jay Crowder. 3 of 3 from the field for this tired Miami team. They lost to the Toronto Raptors. Robinson long.
So I think you'll see a lot of that too, where you see a lot of handoff shooting, penetration from the Heat with Hero and Robinson. Nice shot for Brown in the post. Catches it in the paint. Turnaround jumper. So that's really interesting. You know, Bam starts posting up in the perimeter. He sees Tatum as the guy guarding him and just takes it all the way. Good drive by Brown as well. So again, you look at the Dragic factor too. He's been playing excellent in the playoffs. Just a veteran player, great guard. You know, not backing down for anyone. So I'm interested to see if you know, Dragic just continues his excellent play with the Celtics, and see if he'll give us the Celtics a lot of trouble. So let's look at that play again.
Shot clock at 5, under a minute to go in the first quarter. 3, good. Derek Jones, you just shake your hand. Look at him swim. Now the mismatch on Cannon.
So he's coming off the elbow, you know, cutting, you know, having that curl to the basket. So he'll either pull up, Hero that is, or drive it to the basket. And you see a nice cut by Williams there for that dunk.
Look at Tatum aggressively takes it inside. Counted for 2 and a foul.
So that's definitely the main guy that the Heats will be looking at is Tatum. You know, with Tatum being being the go-to guy and being their best offensive player. Yeah, so Celtics have to worry about that shooting, especially from Robinson and Hero. But I believe, you know, all around Heats they got good shooters. You know, you got Crowder as well that can shoot the ball. And also Jimmy Butler can shoot it as well, so. So see that curl, see that screen, handoff. He'll have that shot, a floater or a layup, or maybe that 3 coming off that curl. Nice shot by Kemba coming off that screen there. You know, Olynyk can shoot the ball too. He's a big that could spread the floor as well. So Celtics definitely got to watch out for the shooters, and it'll be interesting to see how they play with all that.
Sorry, Kevin, I'm not trying to take your job. I didn't want to finish the story and take away from the game, but Kendrick told me he spent 5 years in college.
Ahead it goes. Nunn
Yeah, it's that shooting. You gotta watch out. Oh, but he missed that one. I just really like Adebayo in this team, man. He's that hybrid big. He's like kind of like the glue of the Heat because he could just do it all, man. Defensively and offensively. You know, he's willing to rebound. He can score inside. He can shoot that mid-range. And just facilitate really well too. So it's good to have that big to also be a good passer and be able to survey the floor. Nice cut by Duncan. What's gonna happen too is they're gonna overplay the shot, right? And that's gonna lead to a lot of backdoor cuts for the shooters. So in this game, you know, the Heat have been leading the whole way. Got a big lead there. So you see in this game a lot, in these highlights, I mean, you see Brown penetrating a lot to the basket. And you're going to see a lot of that too, you know, when these guys do penetrate. So let's look back here. When you do see guys penetrate, the guards penetrate, you're going to have defenders that are going to help on that. So the person that they're going to help on, Olynyk here, which is who's guarding Daniel Theis, you really see the signal with Daniel Theis, him pointing the finger up for that alley-oop. Tatum automatically sees that, so he's going to throw up that alley-oop. So you're going to see this quite often with this alley-oop here with the guards and Daniel Theis.
They have had a lot of assists. Dragic, Adebayo, halfway through the third.
Nice pump fake and nice cut by Olynyk to get that easy bucket.
It will make a difference. Jones back in, first time in the second half. Here's a three, and Robinson can't hit. Rebound, Adebayo, right over Smart, puts it up and in.
So that is quite a, that is kind of, you know, be a trouble for, you know, the Celtics if you don't have Theis there in the lineup. And Bam is there, you know, he's gonna get those rebounds and those putbacks.
And you can't let him get to his left. Recognize that playing Chris Paul in one of those scrimmages because he said he felt Chris Paul really dictated that just by his voice alone. Wanamaker loses the ball into Allen. Here comes Bam down the way.
Nice cuts. Nice play in transition.
Tatum getting the screen, driving out Olynyk and dives.
Great move by Tatum.
Did you see the hesitation?
Just a great offensive player, man.
Walker with seconds remaining from midcourt. Good as it goes. Got it. Got it.
What a shot by Kemba.
Nails that half-court
That's a great shot.
Kemba Walker. I think he was targeting anywhere to 20.
And I look at Cantor and I wonder how much playing time he'll get with the Heat. It looks like he hasn't been getting much in the playoffs, but it'll be interesting to see if they do play him a bit more often in this series.
His minutes on the floor tonight. Adebayo with the screen. Dragic another shot.
Nice shot by Dragic, man. Nice pull up.
That's the one he wanted, though. Wide open three. Brown off the wing. Skies in for two. For this was Sacramento and the Dallas game. The attention to detail has been great for safety. Hayward inside, even the swipe by Adebayo.
Nice take by Hayward. I really think, you know, if Hayward does come back healthy and he does play the way that he does, you know, it's going to be a huge help for the Celtics in this series. Another offensive option, another guy that can be able to make plays and score off the dribble and can shoot the ball. That'll be much needed against a very good defensive Miami Heat team. And it'll also put a lot of pressure off of Tatum and Brown and Kemba as well. The guys that could score. So if you have another scoring option, it's just going to make, you know, the other guy scoring a lot easier. Yeah, so, you know, Robinson and Hero, those are the guys you got to watch out if you're the Celtics. Because if you leave them open, they're going to knock those down. And Robinson was a huge factor in this game, you know, making all those threes. So we'll see how the Celtics adjust for that.
They needed that. Big shot by Kemba Walker. Well, it's Boston's ball. It's a 6-point game. 18 seconds to go. Here comes Hayward. They can't waste time. Kemba, three. Robinson defends. He got it. Walker with a three.
A tough three there, you know.
13 seconds to go.
Just trying to get this win here.
Dragic will go out and chased around. Over to Robinson. Now to Iguodala, wide open, and there was a foul on that sideline with 5.2 for the season. 3 of 9 at the line.
So it was a pretty competitive game in this bubble. The Heat did steal away with this win here, and obviously in these playoffs, or in this series, it's going to be a lot more competitive. I do expect games like this where it's going to be close. It's going to be a very defensive game. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these games play out. I do think it's going to be very entertaining, and you're going to see just the highest level of basketball that there is out there. So I'm looking forward to watching this series, and my projection is, you know, I don't know who's going to win this series. I really don't. I think it's a toss-up, man. If I were to give an edge, I would probably give it to the Heat. Maybe the Heat in 7. I do see this series going to 6 or 7 games. So anything less than that would be quite surprising. But you never know how these playoffs go. You know, anybody can get injured. So we'll see. But I do expect it to be competitive if everybody's healthy. And you know, the reason I give Miami the edge is because of that experience that they bring to the table. Obviously, the Celtics have their experience as well, and they also have the depth. So Miami have the experience, championship pedigree, the veterans, the young guys also play like veterans. They don't even play like they're rookies or their second year in the NBA, you know. So having those factors included, you know, I kind of give a bit of an edge to the Heat. But I don't really know. I don't really know how it's going to play out. I could see either one of them being in the finals. And yeah, that is it for the breakdown. I hope you have found this video entertaining, or maybe not entertaining, but informative. But nevertheless, I hope that you have enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. And if you want to see more videos like this, please drop a like. Hopefully I'll be doing another breakdown of the Western Conference Finals. While I am recording this, currently the Nuggets and the Clippers are tied in the series 3-3. So after that game ends, I'll do a breakdown of the Western Conference Finals. So just stay tuned and eagerly wait for the next content video. Thank you so much. Till next time.